Kids Rock, what is up? Welcome to our very first episode of Kids Rock TV Summer Edition. This is extra special, you guys. We are kicking off today with a brand new theme, and it is, boom, focus. Take a closer look. We're going to be talking about the word faith over the next couple of weeks. All about what it means to believe in Jesus and having faith in something that you even can't see. Interesting. You guys like binoculars? Have you ever used binoculars to look at something far away, maybe a bird in a tree or something like that? And it's so cool how it's so far away, but then when you put the binoculars up and you're looking side to side, that bird looks so close to you, right? Or how about a microscope? A microscope is something that takes something teeny tiny and it magnifies it to look super huge in ways that you could never ever see otherwise. Or even a telescope. Have you ever looked at the stars at night? Break out a telescope and you see a little twinkle in the sky. Until you break out your telescope, it looks so much bigger. Well, all of those things are tools to help us see things better, to help us get a better idea of what things look like. But did you know that there are some things you can't see? And that's what we're going to be talking about over the summer. We're going to be talking about a word called faith. Faith is something you can't see. Actually, let's look at our screen and see our graphic of faith. Exactly what is faith? Here we go. Faith is believing in what you cannot see because you believe in what you can see. Seems a little confusing at first, right? But I guess what? If you stick around and learn about faith and the stories of the characters in the Bible that helps us understand what faith is, I bet you'll have a greater understanding. You'll learn something new each and every week. So we're gonna kick off our very first episode here in the summer edition with an awesome game. There's gonna be blurry images. They can only be one of two things. This blurry image will either be a dog or a bagel. Sounds pretty easy, right? Well, not when they're so blurred up. You'll have 10 seconds to shout out what you think it is to see if you are correct. All right, are you ready to play? Is it a dog or is it a bagel? Take a closer look, guys. Get ready to focus. All right, how'd it go? Did you get them right? Did you guess dog or a bagel? Some of them were kind of easy, I'll give it to you. But some of them were a little difficult. I thought one or two of them was a dog for sure, and it was a bagel. Curled up in a little ball. So cute, dog or bagel. All right, we're gonna keep it moving with our one worship song. We only got one, so make it count, boys and girls. This is a brand new song. It's called Only Focus, of course, our theme. Only Focus. I know you're gonna like it. Give it a chance, give it a shot. Clap, try to learn the lyrics as they come across the screen. If they have some dance moves and you wanna get up and move a little bit and shake out yourself and get some movement going on, go right ahead and do that. All right, boys and girls, here's our worship song, Only Focus. I'll see you in a minute.
This is my faith, this is my focus, all of my days. I know where my hope is, I'll live it loud, I'll shout the chorus, because I know, oh, you're always for us. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And keep on looking to you for where I'm going, knowing you go there too. I'll keep on looking to you. I'll fix my eyes on you. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. I'll fix my eyes on you. This is my faith, this is my focus, all of my days. I know where my hope is, I'll live it loud, I'll shout the chorus, because I know, oh, you're always for us. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And keep on looking to you for where I'm going, knowing you go there too. I'll keep on looking to you. I'll fix my eyes on you. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. I'll fix my eyes on you. Oh yeah. Woo! You ready? Come on, let's go. Hands in the air, hands in the air. I know you're there, I know you're there. Anywhere, oh. I'll fix my eyes on you. Hands in the air, hands in the air. I know you're there, I know you're there. Anywhere. I'll fix my eyes on you. And keep on looking to you for where I'm going, knowing you go there too. I'll keep on looking to you. I'll fix my eyes on you. You are my only, you are my only focus. You are my focus. I'll fix my eyes on you.
All right, welcome back, guys. What'd you think? Only Focus. I like that song. that song. We need to keep our eyes fixed on Jesus like a laser beam, like Pastor Shaw always says. Fixed on Jesus. Nothing else. To that side or that side. Fixed on Jesus. Jesus, is our only focus. All right, so before we get into our story, I want you guys to check out this little introduction video with my friend to give us a better idea of what faith is before we get into our story. I'll be right back.
and I'm so excited about it being summertime! Summertime, yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. One reason I'm so excited is because I have developed my very own STEAM lab! Look at it, check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out. Look at, wow. Isn't that so awesome? You're probably wondering what that stands for. Science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. And I'm not totally sure how things will go in my lab this summer, but luckily, I have faith. Faith is trusting in what you can't see because of what you can see. You see? You see what I did there? I have faith that I'll learn a lot and probably have fun doing so. I mean, just look at this place! Check it out. Wow! Oh, wait. Perfect. Check out this microscope! Microscope. I've always been amazed how microscopes can let you see things that you normally can't see. Take hair, for instance. Ow. Ah, look at that one. See, it looks like a thin line. Mine's kind of curly. Ooh, you can't see it, can you? But put it under a microscope. Wow! Cool, right? What about the inside of a piece of grass? Put it under a microscope. Wow! Look at that! The inside looks like a whole bunch of smiley face emojis. I mean, you never see that just by looking at grass. Today's Bible story is all about not being able to see everything, but remembering that God always does. It's like he's always looking through a microscope or something. So, let's take a look at this story and see what we can find. Unbelievable! Is that really what my hair looks like? Yeah.
Okay, so before we get into our story of the day, I have a friend who's gonna help me tell our story today. Great storyteller with images and words and music in the background. You're gonna love it. We're gonna get our hearts ready and our minds ready to hear what God has to say to you. Specifically, you. And you know how we do that here at Kidz Rock. Get ready to say it loud and proud with your back straight like you believe it. Here we go. Repeat after me. Say, I am loved by God. I am forgiven through Jesus. And finally, nice and loud and strong, I am strong in the Spirit. That's right, boys and girls. Don't you ever, ever, ever forget that. All right, so we're gonna get into our story all about how Bible characters demonstrate to us what faith really is. Believing in something that you can't see because of something you can see. Let's see if we can make a little bit more sense of that with our Bible story of the day. I'll see you guys in a minute.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Hebrews, chapters 11 and 12.
Gotta have a little faith, 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 faith. Keep the faith. Take a leap of faith. You know, a lot of people toss around the word faith lately. We say you can break the faith, or just take it all on blind faith. But true faith isn't blind at all. It's much more than just an inspirational word. True faith has to do with believing in all the things you can't see, because you start with what you can see. Now, we can't see God with our physical eyes, but we can see the stories of people who came before us. They lived in a broken world like we do, but they chose to follow God. They chose to trust His promise that one day He would send a rescuer that would make everything right again. The writer of Hebrews in the New Testament tells us about some of these men and women in God's story. People like Noah, people like Abraham.
Abraham.
When God called Abraham, he was already getting old. he and his wife Sarah didn't have kids.
Leave your country and your people. Leave your father's family. Go to the land I will show you. All nations on earth will be blessed because of you.
God was planning on sending his rescuer as one of Abraham's great, etc. grandchildren. But still, even though Abraham had God's promise, he still couldn't see the one God was sending. Still, Abraham went on a wild adventure, following God's call, and even his descendants, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph, all chose faith in God. Moses, too, was called by God from the fiery heart of a burning bush. Even though he was raised by Pharaoh's daughter, he chose to stand with his own people and face Pharaoh's anger to win freedom. We read about it like this in the book of Hebrews.
Moses suffered shame because of Christ. He thought it of great value.
See, when you check out Hebrews, you discover this huge list of people who followed God by faith, so many that the writer just stops trying to list all of them. Oh, but we can't forget Israel's most important king, David.
Get up and anoint him. This is the one.
Even though God had promised David would be king, though, David spent years on the run from King Saul, fearing for his life. Still, he chose to trust God.
The Lord is my shepherd. He gives me everything I need.
Now, none of these people in the Old Testament could see with their eyes how God was going to save his people, but they could see how he was working in their lives, how their needs were being met. So they chose to believe in his greater plan. They chose faith.
Faith is being sure of what we hope for. It is being sure of what we do not see. That is what the people of long ago were praised for.
Now, here's where the story turns. In Hebrews, we discover that none of those people in the Old Testament received what God had promised here on earth.
That's because God had planned something better for us, so they would only be made perfect together with us.
God's plan includes all of us from the very beginning of creation. So at just the right moment, at the perfect point in time, God sent his rescuer, the hero, his very own son, Jesus. Jesus showed us how to live. He showed us what God was like, and he told us the most important thing.
If you love one another, everyone will know you are my disciples.
Love God, love others. It's the heart of the whole story. But then, Jesus was killed, and his friends thought the story was finished. Period. Dot. The end. Until God raised him back to life. Jesus has defeated death, and those who follow him can live with him forever. But how do you follow someone you can't see? Well, that brings us back to faith.
Let us keep looking to Jesus. He is the one who started this journey of faith, and he is the one who completes this journey of faith. He paid no attention to the shame of the cross. He suffered there because of the joy he was looking forward to. So think about him. Then you won't lose hope.
The early believers, Peter and John and other followers of Jesus, had seen him teach and heal. They saw him after God raised him to life. But after Jesus returned to heaven, the believers continued to live by faith.
We have to speak about the things we've seen and heard.
Because of what the new Christians in the early church had seen, they could believe in what they could not yet see, the end of the story, where God makes everything right. They kept the faith, and because they did, we can choose faith too.
Isn't it so amazing to see all the Bible characters display faith in God? Even though they couldn't see God, they knew he was alive. They knew he was directing them. They knew he had a purpose for their life. See, sometimes we think that just because we can't see something, it might not be real. But you know, Jesus is alive. Even if we can't see him, we read about him in the Bible. We hear great, unbelievable stories of people who have been healed from sicknesses and disease, who have been saved unbelievably from car accidents and things like that. And we know Jesus is alive. See, we can take those things that we do know when we feel comfort when we're sad, that's Jesus. Even though we can't see him, we can still feel him. And we can still read about him. And we can still talk to him. And our faith grows because Jesus is real. You see those characters we just talked about? They believed God's promises were true. They believed God was faithful, meaning that he would do what he said he would do. And that's faith. Putting your hope in something that you cannot see, yet you still believe it. In fact, that sounds a lot like our memory verse of the month. Boys and girls, I want you guys to remember this one. This one is like one of those super popular verses that once you get down deep in your heart, you never forget it. Are you ready? All right, let's get our scripture verse up on the screen and we'll read it together. Faith is being sure of what we hope for, sure of what we cannot see. That's from Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. That's right, boys and girls. We can be sure of those things that we cannot see because we know Jesus is alive, because we know God's promises are true. And those characters we just learned about, prove it. Prove it, boys and girls. All right, let's send it back to our friend and she will sum up our whole story and I'll be right back. Take a look, guys. I'll be right back.
Woo! Take a look at this one. Any guesses on what that is? It's the inside of a carnation stem. It's amazing how things look so different under a microscope than they do just with our eyes. It makes me think of Hebrews chapter 11. It's where we can look back to all these people in history who had faith in God. Even though they couldn't always see how things would turn out, they believed God and his promises. They lived by faith. And you can live by faith too. In fact, having faith in Jesus and what he did for you on the cross is what makes it possible for you to have a relationship with God. Relationship status update. Even though we can't see Jesus in person, we can still have faith in him because we can see how he's worked in the lives of the people who've come before us. That's the one thing to remember today. You can know Jesus even though you've never seen him. If you want to know Jesus more and you don't know where to start, try talking with someone who has put their faith in Jesus. Or you can read the stories in the Bible of the people who trusted God long ago. There are lots of things we can see that can help us have faith. So, I hope you guys have an awesome day. I'm gonna look at a few more things under my microscope. Like maybe my nail! Let's check it out. Oh, I need to wash my hands better.
All right, guys, that's our bottom line of the day. You can know Jesus even though you can't see him. And I'll be honest with you guys, sometimes it feels like you can't really see what's happening, right? You don't understand. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why am I so sad? Why am I so angry? Sometimes we can't see things like we want to, but we can still have faith and believe that Jesus is still with us. Even though you can't like really touch him and hug him and hold him, he's still there. And that's great news, guys. That is great news. All right, that brings week number 1 of our Kidz Rock TV to a close. We're talking about faith all month long, and even next month, we're gonna get a really good understanding of faith. And you know how I like to leave you here at Kidz Rock with a song to send you on your way. So all right, guys, I'll see you next week, same time, same channel, right here, Kidz Rock TV. I'll see you later, guys. Have a great week. And remember, you can know Jesus even if you can't see him. See you next week.
Darkness run and hide, you bring the broken back to life. Only you can, only you can. You set me free from every chain, you fill my heart with songs of praise. Only you can, only you can. Jesus, you're the only reason that I'm on to bring this runaway back home. Only